Her smile shines as bright as the stars at night. Her heart is as kind as can be. She has the patience of a saint, but if you push her, oh Lordy. A straight talker is Smiley. She's the salt of the earth. Make no mistake, she matters. Catch Smiley's story on a live stream. Oh boy, that girl can matter. Go Smiley. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Missing posters and stories of heartache and fear. She tells us all of the heartbreaking tears. She can sniff out the guilty from a mile away. If Smiley's on the case, then she's here to stay. She cares about these missing children. She cares deeply about them all. She speaks the truth with integrity. For the truth, she will seek it all. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. Smiley's questions are like a heat-seeking missile. She's going straight for the bullseye. Don't ever believe you can fool her. She's too wise, man, she won't comply. She values freedom like the 4th of July. She values respect even more. If you want to earn a place at Smiley's table, watch the clock, it takes time for sure. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you break her trust, you're done for. Trust don't grow back like grass. So don't give Smiley a reason to doubt you, or that friendship will shatter like glass. She's a damn good woman, that much we know. She puts in the hours to bring them kids home. If your child is missing, you want Smiley on the case. She is always willing and she gives so much grace. She's a Smiley, alright. She's a Smiley. Make no mistake why she's here. She's Smiley, alright. She's Smiley. If you're guilty, she'll smell out your fear. If you're guilty, you better feel.
Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday night. Going into Monday. We are going into Monday tomorrow. It is September 14th, 2025. Some places I imagine it's not, but it is here where I am, Central Standard Time. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Hi, Chi-Chi. Hello, beautiful. Annabella, honeys. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. I know you're working. You work all the time, girl. Then you got to sleep. Girl, you better wake up. You better be eating at work sometimes. You better be taking care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I love you, girl. Panda Bear's mom. Hey, hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. Hey, Barbara, I was just thinking about you today, honey. Good to see you. Good to see you. I bet you know this case. I'm fixing to talk about. Good to see you. I love you. Hello, Betsy. Hello, good to see you. I hope you're doing good. I hope everybody is doing good. Hold on, y'all. I got to turn this fan on, man. 1 minute I get chilly and 1 minute I get hot. Just hold on 1 second. Boy, if it ain't for my... I'm going through some things. If it ain't for my eyes, it's my temperature. My temperature is rising and dropping and all kinds of crazy things. Lord have mercy. So anyway, how is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing good. I really do. I hope everybody is doing great tonight. Have y'all had a good Sunday today? I hope everybody has. I was going to talk about a manual tonight, and I don't know if I can stay up and do another one. I might be able to. I don't know. It depends on if I can sleep or not. But if not, I will do it probably first thing in the morning. But I was going to do it, and I saw this. This is still this is halfway done. This is 1 foot's in and 1 foot's out. Well, they ain't out, but you'll see. You'll see for those that don't know, honey. And I'm like, how did I miss this? This is a sad case, y'all. It's very sad. It really is. So how are y'all doing, though? Y'all done anything interesting today? Sounds like hot and cold. It's been a pause. Honey, I don't know what kind of pause it is, but it needs to pause. Let me tell you that. It needs to pause. It needs to go away, honey. That's what it needs to do, because I am sick of it. I am very sick of it. I am so sick of it. I can't stand it. It's getting on my last nerve. And you know them last nerves? I've been saying I had them last nerves like months and months and months ago. Like last year's ago. Nothing ever interesting over there. Just on the grind. Lord. Well, at least you can hear Smiley while you're at work. I'm just saying. There's always something interesting on here. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. Lord have mercy. So, well, before anything goes on, if y'all want to, just put some little hearts in here. And we got, this little precious baby on here. And from what I was reading and what I was knowing, he was 5 when he was tortured, because they say that the Tennessee cops say that he was brutally, and this will be triggering for some. Man, I hate to keep doing these because it's sad, man, when these kids are done like this. But, these cops say that this was very cruel torture, abuse, and it was the cruelest that they have ever saw. And I'll play a couple of news clips. And, I'm going to play Law and Crime, which is about 15 minutes. And then the other one is a Channel 2 news clip, local. Have any of y'all heard this story, Turner Simpkins? Anybody? Because if you have, it's horrible. It took me a minute when going through this to realize that the person that did this was the girlfriend. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, where's the mother at? But anyway, we'll get to all that. It's sad. She's already been sentenced, I'll tell you that, to life. And then the dad, he's in jail now on a $500,000 bond, and he's waiting trial. I figured out his trial will be in November. To tell you a little bits and pieces of it. Hey, Daniel Sports Highlight. Hello, honey. Good to see you. And this come out of Cheatham County, Tennessee, right outside on the outskirts of Nashville. And I lived there one time at one point in time. This is where Ryan Up Church was. I don't know if he still lives there or not, but it's more country out there, a little bit peaceful and quiet. Well, it was. I don't know. They're building Nashville up so big now, but to me, everything's Nashville. So, anyway, gosh, it's just so sad. But they said they never seen anything like it. So the dad's in the Cheatham County jail right now. This baby died from months of torture, they said, and abuse. And the girl's name is Shannon Lee Elliott. She was 27 years old at the time. She'd probably be 29 now. This happened in 2023. At the time, she lived in Springfield, Tennessee. Okay. That's on the other end up there by Sebastian, where Sebastian lives. And so Cheatham County is the other side. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever. We finally got a sentence on her, and she got life in prison for the cruelty and torture and the beating of this 5-year-old little boy, Tyler Simpkins. Her charges were first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, neglect, and endangerment. His name was Turner, and he died in July 2023. His death was ruled a homicide, and it was by what the coroner said, and when they did his autopsy and stuff, blunt force trauma injuries and malnutrition. So it wasn't just blunt force trauma to the head. It was, hey, Miss Shell's Jury. Hello. It was blunt. It was a little bit more than that. And you'll see in the videos and stuff like that. But evidence showed they had videos, okay? So they had videos that included video surveillance. I don't know where they got those. Like I said, I just come across this. I was like, oh my God. So the girl said, like, he fell out of the car, he did this, he did that. So I'm sure it was from outside surveillance, probably. But for instance, it could be an inside too, I don't know. But they said that this happened over a period, and they have video to back it up, of 79 days, y'all. Look at that sweet face. I know he was smaller in this picture, but how can anybody harm another human being, a child at that? But look at that face. And a 5-year-old? I mean, seriously? How? I still can never understand it. And when y'all hear this, you're probably going to be in tears. 79 days. And it was so much to it. And this is triggering now. There were so many forms of abuse. Some of them I can't even go into. They'll probably tell it on the videos, and, but it's heartbreaking. It was biting. This girl bit this baby all over his body. I mean, bit him. She kicked him, literally bit him and kicked him. There was so much more. So much more. And she pled no contest, okay, when it all boiled down to it. And that was interesting to me because she was sentenced in 2024. Although, in my opinion, I don't get why she pled no contest. I'm not sure, I studied on it a little bit. If there was a plea deal or not, I'm not sure, but about that part, and I'm just being honest with y'all, but hearing the judge at the end, I doubt it, but it could have been. But why plead no contest? That's the same as you might as well have pled guilty. But here's the thing. She wasn't going nowhere anyway. She wasn't going nowhere anyway. Right, Chuchi? I just can't with all these monsters and these people that are, parents or girlfriends or step-parents or whatever. I can't. I don't understand it. And it's getting worse by the day. So all of this is a true story, and it's all public record. And so, some of their records I pulled, just the jail records and stuff, I'm going to put up after the show. But the victim is this little baby here, and his name is Turner Simpkins, and he was only 5 years old at the time. And the abuse was uncovered because somebody found him. I don't know who, but somebody found him unresponsive at his house in Champsboro. And that's in Cheatham County. And it was in July of 2023. Again, very extensive bruising, bite marks. He had lacerations. And the autopsy report, again, they showed, and it showed with video, proof of this crap went on for 79 days. And the judge said, although parole is possible under the new law, which I think that needs to be changed back to the old law, evidently, but that's just me. Hey, although that the parole is possible under the new law, in his opinion, given how heinous the crimes were, she will never be released. And I say, good for that judge. Good. Was it the same judge Megan Boswell had? Because I like this judge already. I do. Just saying. Hey, Miss Ann. Hello. Play Smiley. I just come. Well, I'm glad you come in. You're falling asleep. I know I decided to come on here late tonight. I was almost going to go to sleep myself, and I'm like, nah, I'm just going to do a live. I promised them I would do one. Hello, Lady Justice. Hello. Good to see you, honey. Y'all come on in. Grab you some coffee. Stay awake. Just kidding. Smiley thinks because she can have coffee at midnight, y'all can have coffee too. Get your drink of choice. Come on down. Thank you for coming in. But that judge was the judge was David D. Wolf. And I say good for him. Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Now the father. Okay, the mother, she was already sentenced, and we'll get to a video in just a minute. But she's not the mother, she's the girlfriend. Okay, she's the girlfriend. Okay, but she's already been sentenced. She's in jail. I don't know if they took her to prison yet. I assume they have, but anyway, she's in jail. She got life. So now the father. They didn't get him yet, but they did indict him. They indicted him later on in January 2025. Okay, that was this year. So we hadn't been through court with him yet. I do intend on following that. being as I just found out about this. Don't know how I missed it. I guess I was involved in everything else. But he's in jail now with no bail. I mean, he's got bail. Sorry, he's got $500,000 bail, but he obviously can't make it, okay? He's still in jail. I just checked. And he don't go back to court. They've put it off until November. So he don't go back. They've had to reschedule it. So they do that sometimes, and evidently they rescheduled it. I just looked before I come on here, and he don't have another court date till November. Will he be able to make his bond? I don't know. It's $500,000. I don't know. I don't know if he's got that kind of money. But anyway, he was indicted in January of this year, and he was indicted on child abuse, neglect, and endangerment. Now, I think, as he should have been, I say he's a POS. Now, they alleged that he knew, again, until he's proven guilty, I have to say my little disclaimer in a court of law, blah, blah, blah. He's innocent until proven guilty. Okay, whatever. But this is the real world, honey. How did he not know? It's his kid. She's the girlfriend. Allegedly, he said he went on this trip, and when he got back, his kid was like this. Okay. Well, was he gone for 79 days? I'm just wondering. Hello. Just wondering. Thank you, Lady for Justice. Thank you. Woo, woo. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you, honey. Let me do this for you. Let me do this. Let me do it if I can see it. I know you're renew. Honey, I still get to do it for you. I still get to do it. And I still appreciate you. You know that. I know you've been with me a long time. Stop that. YouTube needs to. You've been with me a long time. Why is my. See? Stop that. See? There's my phone. There's my phone. Stop phone. YouTube needs to. They do need to fix that, though. See, there's my phone. Oh my gosh. I hate hearing myself on there. I told y'all I got ghost in here, honey. I got ghost. Okay. But where was he at? Was he gone for 79 days? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he was at work, what kind of work he did and all that stuff. I don't know. But you can't tell me that this child was being tortured and all that stuff. I'm glad that they got him for sweeping it under the rug. But my more important question to myself, because I was here talking to myself, and especially if they had videos and stuff like that of 79 days, the most important question I had was, for 79 days, honey, who else knew about this? Put the dad aside. I don't know if the dad was gone or not. I think you need to look on the video and see where anybody else was. Go round them up. Start asking questions of them, in my opinion. Anybody else see this? Nobody else noticed? Nobody else heard cries? And if they were out there by themselves, did anybody come in and out of the house? And did they go to the store? Did they not see bruises? This is why we got to stay vigilant. It's not to be nosy. It's not to stick your nose in somebody else's business, but these are children, man, and y'all see on here every day, these children are being hurt. These children are being hurt. Yeah, I'm going to learn more about this case too. I'm with you. I don't know how I missed this case, Lady for Justice. I don't. The police said this was the worst cruelty case and torture case that they ever saw. I don't know how I missed it, honestly. I don't. Usually if something's going on in Tennessee this big, I know about it, but I didn't know anything about it. And I'd rather be safe for a child than sorry. And I know that a parent would be mad. I would be mad if somebody called somebody on me. I would. I really would. But if you have nothing to hide or be, worried about, then, hey, you almost need to be thankful somebody's checking on you. Not you in particular, but your child. It ain't about you. Not no more in this life. Not no more in this day and time. It's not. Honestly. There's too much meanness going on. Too much. Things happen. Things happen, like I always say, in the blink of an eye. I mean, you just never know. You never know. The location of this home, I won't give the exact address, but it was on Popular Ridge Road, again in Champsboro in Cheatham County. So who knew about this? Did anyone else see? And again, the father was just indicted in January. Will anybody else be in trouble? I don't know. I don't know. Who turned a blind eye for 79 days? What about them? They got no help, is what they said. The father got no help. Well, did anybody else try to get any help? I think we need to start with the cameras and see, was there anybody else? I'm just saying, question them at least. You don't have to lock them up and throw away the key. But I think others do need to be questioned if others were involved. That's just my opinion. I can't get over people wanting to hurt these babies. There's something else in this world, in these laws, something that needs to be done to put a stop to this stuff. I think it could be at least slowed down if there was something changed. Even if that's bringing other people in and questioning them. I don't know. By the way, the father's name is Austin Gordon Simpkins. That's his name. And again, he's still in jail, Cheatham County. Girlfriend already sentenced to life. And this little boy's name is Turner. And his father evidently just swept it under the rug. The mother, I'm not understanding about her because I don't know. I'm not sure. If anybody knows, feel free to tell me, because there's not much information on her. In the obituary, it named her. I know who she is. I know she had some, and I know y'all are wondering, I know she had some charges on her for assault and reckless driving, and she has been in trouble in Cheatham County. I didn't go any further down in Davidson County or anything like that. I know those were, all of her charges were disposed of. I don't know why he was living with his father. I don't know what the situation was. Again, I haven't dug into it that deep. I know there's usually a problem if anytime a father usually gets, besides the mother, there's usually a problem. Unless she was in the home too and he just had a girlfriend and this happened. But I highly doubt that. I believe the father had him, but I don't know. I can't tell you factually. The mother was listed on the obituary. I don't know if she was in jail at the time, but I know that she does have assault on her, and I don't know who she assaulted. I don't know all that. So I don't know, but this is pathetic. That's all I can tell you. It's pathetic. They're all at fault, if you ask me. That's just me. Anybody got anything else to tell me? Tell me. We can agree to disagree, but that's my thoughts on it. We're going to watch this real quick, and everybody can draw their own conclusions, but I just think it's terrible. I don't know. We'll watch Law and Order, or not Law and Order, Law and Crime first.
Tortured to death. Investigators say some of the abuse he suffered through included being kicked, slapped, punched, bit, and choked. The woman who put him through his horrible final months was his father's girlfriend, who was sentenced for her role in the young boy's death. But now the father is facing his own charges for what he didn't do to protect his son. The gruesome case unfolded in July of 2023 when 5-year-old Turner Simpkins was found dead inside his home. Prosecutors say emergency responders tried to treat Turner, but he was cold to touch. His body reportedly dropped to 86 degrees and he was limp. At the time of Turner's death, he was in the care of his father's girlfriend, Shannon Elliott. Elliott reportedly told investigators the 5-year-old was out of town the weekend before his death, visiting his mom. But when Elliott picked him up and they arrived to their home, she claimed Turner unbuckled his seat, opened the car door, and then fell out of a moving car. She claimed Turner told her he wasn't hurt, but he got scratches from it. However, prosecutors poked holes in that supposed story. They argued the car seat she claims he fell from was still inside the car, undamaged, and a drink cup in that car seat still had liquid in it. Shannon Elliott reportedly told investigators that Turner was alive an hour before responders tried to revive him. But when she was asked about his other injuries, like a black eye, she claimed that was from falling. She claimed the leg scratches were from riding his bike, but prosecutors argued none of the bruises on Turner's stomach were there before he left to his mom's house. Then everything changed when investigators found surveillance video at Elliott's job. After combing through the video, they said they saw Elliott being abusive to the 5-year-old for 40 days. Investigators say the footage showed Elliott slapping, kicking, punching, biting, and strangling Turner. She was ultimately charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of aggravated child abuse. But the case never went to trial. Instead, she entered a plea of no contest.
Ms. Elliott, you're here today charged with a number of very serious crimes, including felony murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated child abuse for involving torture. It has been indicated that you have agreed to enter a plea of no contest, but have you seen or been shown a copy of the charges against you and talked it over with your lawyer, and you and Mr. Vaughn discussed the range of punishment you're facing as well as any possible defenses you might have?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's indicated that you want to enter this plea of no contest or nolo contendere. That simply means you understand what the state's evidence is going to be. You're not going to admit you did anything wrong, but you're not going to deny it or contest it. And the state will then tell me what their evidence would be if this case went to trial, and I'll use that factual basis to find you guilty of these charges according to this agreement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand, however, that you have a right to plead not guilty to all charges and to have a speedy and public trial by jury?
Sir.
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you would have the right to have a lawyer and to have one appointed, as I've done with a public defender?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you and your lawyer could confront that you would be presumed to be innocent until such time, if ever, the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt to the satisfaction of all 12 jurors, and their verdict will have to be unanimous before you could be convicted of anything? Do you understand that if you went to trial, you and your lawyer could confront and cross-examine every witness the state called to testify against you, and you could bring in your own witnesses by the use of a subpoena?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you would be presumed to be innocent at trial. You would not have to testify or prove anything, and no inference of guilt would arise because you did not testify at your own trial. Do you understand that if you went to trial and you were found guilty of a crime, you could appeal the conviction and the sentence imposed to the Court of Criminal Appeals and have a lawyer appointed to help you with that appeal?
Sir.
Do you understand that by entering this plea of no contest, you're waiving your right to a trial and to an appeal? And all I'm going to do is approve what your lawyer has worked out, which, as was pointed out, means that you will be sentenced on first-degree murder to life in prison with the possibility of parole. And then you will also have 20-year sentences on these other 2 cases as well. You understand that?
Sir.
And she was sentenced to life in prison for her role in Turner's death. I want to thank Upside for sponsoring today's Law and Crime YouTube Takeover. Upside is a free app that gets you real cash back on gas, groceries, and restaurants. It's super easy to use. Just claim an offer in the app, pay as usual using a debit or a credit card, and get paid. And this is actual real cash back too. You can use Upside at places like Shell, Exxon, 7-Eleven, and even Chipotle. So to find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside, or scan the QR code on your screen, use our promo code LCTakeover, and get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Again, that's promo code LCTakeover for an extra 25 cents back on your first gallon of gas. Now, months after Shannon Elliott's sentence, her boyfriend, Austin Simpkins, who was Turner's father, is facing his own charges after prosecutors say he did nothing to stop the abuse. He was taken into custody on January 6th after a grand jury indicted him on charges including aggravated child neglect and 3 counts of child abuse. According to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Simpkins was aware his son was being abused by Elliott, and he did nothing to try to stop it and neglected to report any of the abuse to authorities. He was booked into the Cheatham County Jail and is being held on $500,000 bond. I'm joined now by criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Florina Altschiller. Florina, thank you so much for joining me today. What's your reaction to this case? First, the father's girlfriend is convicted in young Turner's death. Now the father is charged with child neglect, endangerment, and abuse. What's your reaction to this whole horrible case?
Unfortunately, we see cases like this all too commonly, and this is just a tragedy for somebody to be in a position where they are the responsible adult in charge of caring for a young, vulnerable person, to take advantage of that and abuse them like that. It's really just horrific.
And, going off of that, the circumstances surrounding this case are truly horrific and horrible, given that we do talk about these types of cases often. It always just sinks in me when it has to do with a young child. But in this particular case, you have bruises and scratches and biting and hitting. What do you make of that aggressive anger and hatred of such a young child that was committed, what prosecutors say was by the father's girlfriend? What do you make of that?
Oh, you didn't know about it either?
Oftentimes we think that adults, because they are adults, that their brains are fully developed and that their frontal lobe works and that they have self-control. And, that's an assumption. That's how we hope adults would act. And that's how, luckily, most adults maybe do act. But there are some adults who just are not mature enough, are not stable enough, and lack that necessary self-control to not behave like, let's be frank, animals. They're acting impulsively, they're acting without any reason and without pause. Most normal people do not commit crimes against children. There's just no excuse, there's no reason, there's no explanation for it other than somebody who is losing complete control and acting like an animal.
And why do you think Austin Simpkins, the father, and Shannon Elliott, the girlfriend, weren't charged together? Or do you think that the evidence came after her conviction that warranted these charges against Turner's father?
Oftentimes, there's evidence in the beginning, and as a case is investigated, there's additional evidence that comes out. I think with her conviction and her admitting and accepting responsibility, essentially, there is additional evidence that implicates him. And at that point, the prosecutors decided, well, he's not really free of guilt here either. We have sufficient evidence to charge him as well for participating in this or for legally being responsible for this as the child's father.
Yeah, and I was going to ask too, what do you make of Austin Simpkins' accusations alone? Authorities believe he knew this horrible abuse was happening and did nothing to stop it.
Right. And as the father here, he's got an absolute duty to stop this. Oftentimes what we see, which is even worse than this, is situations where a parent brings their partner into this relationship, which involves a child, and that partner will sexually abuse the child, and the parent will turn a blind eye to it because they think they love their partner and they think their partner can do no wrong. And even when a child reports abuse to the parents, oftentimes, really sadly, the parent does not believe the child because they take the word of their partner instead. Here, luckily, this is not a case of sexual abuse, but it is a horrific case of physical abuse, which is also clearly not acceptable, not normal, not how society should be functioning. And here we have a situation where the father was more interested in his girlfriend and being with his girlfriend, regardless of the behavior that she was exhibiting, than in taking care of, protecting, and providing a safe and secure environment for his child. And not only is that not acceptable, but it's criminal, and he's charged appropriately so for his criminal responsibility in allowing this to happen.
And I was going to ask, do you see that see his charges being upgraded to possibly negligent homicide, or are you surprised that he wasn't charged with any type of like homicide-like or murder-like charges, given that he wasn't there at the time of the alleged or the abuse that occurred? But are you surprised that he wasn't charged with like a homicide or a murder?
So what saves him from the homicide charge is the fact that he was not there, or the evidence suggests that he was not there at the time. So anyone can be charged as a co-conspirator in a homicide, even if they're not the person who committed the abuse that led to the death. However, they need to somehow facilitate it or participate in it when it happens. I don't believe, and clearly the prosecutors don't believe, and that they haven't charged him with that homicide as a co-conspirator, that he in any way participated or was present. I have seen cases where a person who did not participate but was present. Think about the more common case of a getaway driver, right? You drive somebody over to a crime scene, they shoot and kill someone, you drive them back. You weren't involved in the shooting, you will be charged with that homicide for participating in it as the getaway driver. But here, from the evidence that we know, he really did not participate in it. However, he certainly created an environment which brought this woman into this child's home and allowed her to abuse this child like this. And so unequivocally, there is blatant negligence here, recklessness here, but there's really no intent on his part to participate from the evidence that we know in this child's death.
And given the charges that he is facing now, child neglect and abuse, are you surprised his bond was set at $500,000, or does that come as no surprise to you, given, the severity of what that little boy went through?
So it is a high bond considering the low-level charges, but the facts are that there is a child who is now deceased, and that is horrific. And I think even though he's not charged with causing the child's death, that is a fact that cannot be separated, and he's very lucky that the criminal charges that he's facing are not homicide.
Austin Simpkins' girlfriend at the time, she ended up pleading no contest in this case. She didn't go to trial for this, but do you think that Austin Simpkins could be going to trial for his charges? Do you see that happening, or do you think he could do a no contest plea as well too?
So in every case, there's the possibility of taking a plea deal. There's the possibility of just accepting responsibility. And as every single person in America is afforded the right.
Okay. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. I think, and y'all know I'm pretty hard on this crap, especially when it comes to kids. I agree. I think that was a high bond. I was shocked when I heard he got a $500,000 bond, but that's just me. I'm not saying it's wrong. Hell, they should have gave him $1 million. I wouldn't have cared. I still don't care. I hope he don't get out, because I don't know how he didn't. I still don't understand how he did not know, even if he was not there. So I'm not saying it's not right that he got that. I'm so glad the judge gave it to him. But I was shocked. The question that's being asked, and they're asking, the news lady is asking, do you think there will be a trial? I think they'll probably keep putting it off, and he'll probably make a plea deal. That's what I think. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Unless they do up his charges and find a reason and find, because like what I said, where in the hell was he at 79 days? Was he gone that whole time? Does he work on a boat? Does he have a job that requires him to be gone 79 days? And listen, I want to know where the mother was. Why couldn't the mother keep her child? Why did it have to be the girlfriend, at least part-time? Her name is Sierra Ford. I don't know if I just told y'all that a while ago. Sierra Ford. Sierra Ford. So they was never married, but did she just give him the baby because she didn't want the baby? I don't know. Again, she has assault charges. She has charges, but they've all been disposed of. They've been cleared up, at least in Cheatham County. Now, I will go look in Davidson County and Sumner County and surrounding counties, but I don't know, man. Did CPS take him away when he was a baby? And you've seen pictures. I mean, he looked like a clean little boy and well kept. I mean, where was, again, here I go. Where was the grandparents? What in the hell is going on with these people? Why did nobody notice for 79 days that this was going on? You have bites, you have torture, cruelty. And look, there's another one that I'm not even going to pull up. I was going to watch that one first. I can't remember who it is. And in fact, I got it in my email. I was going to cue it. And I'm like, I found Law and Order. And I'm like, I better just watch that one. There was other things too, but it's too much. It's just too much sometimes. We don't need to watch all that. All you got to do is pull up these names I'm giving you, and y'all can research it yourself. I'm just telling you, don't take my word for it. It's bad. It's bad. And it's not just these men. You got grown freaking women and men doing these things to these children, babies, innocent. Let's carry on.
Right, to go to trial and to have a jury decide whether or not there's sufficient evidence beyond a reasonable doubt of their guilt. I think here, because he isn't the one who physically caused that abuse, there is some gray area for him to try to defend himself and potentially even go to trial. However, the sympathy level here of a deceased child is so high that the risk is far going to outweigh any benefit. And if he can be offered a plea deal, some sort of step down reduction, there's really no reason to not take a plea, which would be an offer to a lighter sentence than what he would be facing if he goes to trial. Now, certainly many times the prosecution, when charges involve facts that are pretty egregious, doesn't offer a plea deal. There is no step down reduction. The deal is plea to the charge. And in situations like that, there's sometimes less incentive to plead guilty because there's nothing to lose. You may as well go to trial. The consideration there, however, is oftentimes the judge will hear evidence that comes out at trial that they did not hear earlier, because a trial really brings out all of those facts. And based on the facts that the judge learns at trial, oftentimes the sentence is going to be harsher, more severe, more years than whatever sentence they would have imposed had the defendant not gone to trial, because the judge simply did not have access to all of those facts, right? They didn't hear testimony from people about how horrific this was. They didn't hear medical evidence. They didn't see photographs of the injuries. And so there still can be a benefit to taking a plea, even to the charge, for a reduced sentence versus going to trial and essentially ensuring that you're going to have a harsher sentence. Now, under the law, a judge is not allowed to penalize you for exercising your right to a trial. So they can't give you a harsher sentence just because you went to trial. But practically speaking, what happens when you go to trial is the judge does give you a harsher sentence, not for going to trial, but based on the evidence that they learned from that trial.
Well, Florina Altschiller, I appreciate your insight into this case. It's just horrible overall, these circumstances. I want to thank you again so much for your time today. Before we sign you off, anything else you'd like to add about this case?
I think we've pretty much covered it. What a sad, sad case. And unfortunately, it's just yet another one.
All right, Florina, again, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to put up news 2 real quick. This is the one, this is just a couple of minutes where she went to court. Let's watch this.
A breaking news alert. A woman found guilty of murdering a 5-year-old boy in Cheatham County has been sentenced. Alicia Wimberly is at the WKRN.com alert desk with the details. Alicia.
Kendall, the judge says the allegations in this case were graphic and the abuse this child suffered is horrific. Shannon Lee Elliott was found guilty of aggravated child abuse for torturing and killing 5-year-old Turner Simpkins. In July of last year, police went to Elliott's home and found 5-year-old Turner not breathing. They say he had extensive bruising, lacerations, and bite marks. The court says his abuse lasted over 20 minutes and he bled out internally. The investigation showed documents and recordings of Elliott hitting, slapping, and even strangling Turner. Now, the judge in this case said Elliott will serve at least 51 years before she's even eligible for parole. But given what happened to this child, it's unlikely she'll see the outside world again. Kendall.
Okay. So that was her. I mean, and I'm glad the judge told her that. She probably won't even ever see the outside. And that's if somebody don't get their hands on her. You know, I'm just saying. You know, I mean, these people, I cannot imagine. I just can't even imagine. Look, you would think even if you, and I'm not saying you would, I'm just saying, even if somebody did that to a kid, like being frustrated or something, I'm just saying, I'm just using an example. And you put your hands on a kid, I mean, that first slap or whatever, what in the hell would possess you to, hey, Tracy, hello, to continue? How in the heck could you even fathom? You could, any person in their, I'm not even going to say in their right mind, these people are evil. They know what they're doing is pure evil, in my opinion. How could you do something like that? There's just no way. I don't understand it. So this father also, to me, is just as responsible, because you can't tell me he did not know, or it was the first time his girlfriend did something like this, or was a little too harsh. For God's sakes, she bit him, and not just bit. You know, oh my God, it's ridiculous. Y'all, I don't know, but I'll be watching for this one in November. This will be well, I think, again, like I said, I think he'll plea. I think he'll plea out, or he'll go in November, and then they'll reschedule, and they'll keep on and on and on. That's how it usually goes until they make a deal, you know. I didn't like what the news lady said a while ago, though, about the other girl. She must not know too much about no contest is pretty much the same thing as not guilty. But anyway, she said she took accountability and got the plea deal. That just don't even sound right to me, y'all. But that's just me. That's just me. She didn't take accountability. If she would have took accountability, she would have stood her butt up in front of court and said, I plead guilty, and said whatever, and took whatever she had coming to her, wouldn't she? But that's not what she did. You know, I don't know. All these people need training or some common sense or something. You know, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's, you know, sometimes you just got to shake your head. Ooh. And Miss Barbara, I don't know how you missed that one either. I don't know. I missed it too. I don't know how I missed it, but it's sad. I just, I got to look up. I'll be anxious to know if this Elliot, the one that did that, you know, if she's ever done anything like that to be in jail or anything before, what her background is. I didn't have time to look. I just wanted to come on here and bring it, you know. Yeah, accountability. Oh, and that's another thing, Lady Q. Yeah, accountability. I mean, somebody went there and found him. So that was my next question. Hey, R2 Country Girl, hello. So that was my question. I was going to stop it, but I didn't want to stop it again. What was she going to do? Leave him laying there? She didn't call 911, did she? She didn't call 911 and try to get help. Did she do CPR? No, she told him, she tried to explain that he fell out of the car. She lied about it. Maybe they should do like Ola and say, get her for false. Just tag that on too. Ola, you think? Yeah, no contest is a darn weak way out, in my opinion. You know, I don't know. This stuff is horrible. I wish we could wake up and we didn't have any of this stuff to report on. I wish when I looked in the news, I didn't ever come across any of this stuff. But it's got to stop. I don't know what needs to be done. I mean, I don't know. But man, I appreciate y'all joining me. I don't really like coming on this late, because then I know people have nightmares, especially about this stuff. It's all horrible. It is. But it's got to be out there. You know, it's got to be told. And this one is halfway done. What I mean by that, she's in jail. Now we got to get the dad finished up. And then hopefully this innocent child right here that's not having to suffer anymore can finally rest in peace. You know, one can only hope. One can only hope. I just wish they would stop bringing babies here that they don't want, you know, and stop allowing people to hurt and putting their pleasure that they're not going to have anyway or anymore over their own flesh and blood, whether it be male, female, or whatever, because in the long run, you don't have your precious baby. You don't have your life. You don't have anything. But you do have to answer to God, whether you believe in Him or you don't, or you're thinking of that or you don't. You know, that's a choice you make. Well, y'all, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. And I know everybody's tired or have other places on these streets to go. I will see you again in these YouTube streets. Y'all have a great night. Sleep tight. And I'll see you again. Just pray. Pray for everything bad to be good. Bye.